Oh my god, Alloy Collective finally released the hot new DLC on the market, and everyone's wondering, is Alloy Collective worth it? Did AAA developers get embarrassed and mushroom stamped by the DLC? Oh, sorry, wrong YouTube channel. As someone who played the DLC playtest way back in May and said this, stuff aside, the DLC, when I was playing it, was insanely good. When I was streaming the announcement and talking to people in the chat, I was telling them that even though I just played this about a month ago, and obviously it was just a playtest version where they were trying to get feedback from people, I think if it released today, people would like this better than current Seekers of the Storm. And as per my experience from the last couple of days, I'd have to agree with previous me. Gearbox cooked with this one and might have revitalized their image, at least when it comes to Risk of Rain 2 content. Here's a quick recap of all the content in the DLC, avoiding as many spoilers as possible, but don't be shocked if you see something crazy here. First off, we have the two new survivors, Operator and Drifter. More on those in a second. 13 survivor skins. Sadly, none of the other DLC characters, so Survivors of the Void or Seekers of the Storm, got any more skins. One new artifact, the Artifact of Prestige. It's a returning artifact from Risk of Rain Returns and is one of my favorite artifacts. At least one mountain shrine that spawns every stage, and Shrines of the Mountain stack permanently. 7 new environments, 1 post-loop stage variant, kind of like Verdant Falls, 6 interactables, and in Avengers Endgame style, we have 3 new portals, 6 new monsters, 2 new bosses, 1 elite variant, 2 new final bosses, 7 drones, 2 new item types, temporary items and meal items, 22 regular items, and I think that's about it. Oh, and obviously there's some new music, but this time it doesn't have Chris. It's Stavros, who returns from working on Seekers of the Storm. The Build-A-Mana statue song, that was him, and now the entire OST from the Alloy Collective DLC is also from Stavros. There's banger beats, I'm not gonna lie. But now let me talk about the favorite parts, at least personally, of the new DLC and how it stacks up compared to the other DLCs. And is it worth it? Operator and Drifter, honestly, amazing survivors. Probably my 2 favorite of the DLCs. Survivors of the Void, you know, those characters are fun, and Seekers of the Storm, those are broken. Absolutely power corrupt to crap. But Operator, who's essentially just Pilot, and Drifter, my favorite character from Risk of Rain Returns, they just can't be beat. They feel so much fun. Although not previously mentioned because the drone AI was just updated, I think, in general. But with Operator focusing so much on drones, having the new drone AI where your drones don't immediately kill themselves as soon as you spawn them, it feels really nice. And Operator as a survivor feels so clean and smooth. His M1 doing a ricochet every time you kill an enemy with it. Him being able to fly all over the map with his drones, like he's on a freaking glider from Breath of the Wild. It's good stuff. And Drifter being the vagrant that they are, just smacking things down for junk, spawning temporary items, it's never not going to be fun, especially if you pick up a Lysate Cell, a Bandolier, anything that allows you to just spam or temporary items feels so much fun to me. Dopamine injected right into your bloodstream. And then you have the Junk Cube. The Junk Cube, people are going to go crazy for the Junk Cube, especially a certain enjoyer that I know. And her passive, giving her extra stats for every piece of scrap in her inventory, that's cool. I like that. These survivors don't feel clunky like they did on Seekers of the Storm release. They feel clean, and the skins look dope. The only ability I have a problem with is Tornado Slam. What happened there? That thing is a Beyblade of misery. Speaking of, I'm going to flash a couple of the cooler survivor skins on the screen now, so look away or forever hold your peace. These are insanely amazing skins. They require you to accept or reject the offering of the collective. You'll know what that means when you do it. And it depends on the survivor which one you have to do. For example, here's the Bandit skin, where you have to accept the offering. It's called Bandit Pirated. What is this, man? This is amazing. Here's Huntress, might actually be my favorite, if not the Bandit one. And Engineer's just sick, man. Engineer always looks cool, what can I say? I won't spoil the rest, but there is kind of a theme for rejecting and accepting. Only people with 200 IQ can solve this problem. 89% of people think it's 6'7". Also, another thing the DLC did really well were the drones. The aforementioned improvement of the drone AI already makes the pre-existing drones that much better. But adding drones like the Junk Drone, which spawns temporary items, and as it levels up, it will drop more temporary items. I honestly ran into an issue where it was dropping so many items that it was starting to crash my game a little bit. But that's part of the fun. The cleanup drone, aka the Dyson drone, the transport drone to yeet enemies from above, they're all a lot of fun to play with. And the drone combiner, that's a mechanic I wish I could see more of. I think it might be restricted to a certain section of the DLC, so modders might have to cook here a little bit so I can get my drone combining fix. But the drones are just awesome. As for the bosses and the environments, I think they did really well with designing the new boss. Definitely 10 times better than the Voidling, and still a massive improvement over the False Sun. There are 2 final bosses, because there's kind of a final boss fake out and a secret path you need to take to fight the next final boss, but I'm not going to spoil how you get there. My only complaint with the bosses would be that the Soulless Wing, a little tanky. Tanky enough that if you're a melee survivor, I honestly wouldn't even do this fight without looping, and even then, it's going to be a pain in the butt cheeks. If you're a ranged survivor, I think you could probably pull it off. It's just going to take you like 10 plus minutes. Maybe my opinion will change in the future, but I'm pretty sure most people aren't going to be doing the Soulless Wing during their regular runs in about like a month or 2. Now for the items and the combining item mechanic from Chef. I think the combining items is one of the best parts of the DLC, not gonna lie. Once again, sad it's a little gated behind certain things, but whatever, shrug, you take what you get. There are notably less items in this DLC than there were in the previous 2, and I believe this is because Gearbox heard a lot of complaints about item saturation and how it's harder and harder to get the items that you want, because there's just so many other items in the game that stacking becomes more difficult to do. And stacking items is part of what makes Risk of Rain 2 Risk of Rain 2. Maybe it's time to add a Vampire Survivor / Mega Bonk banish mechanic, I don't know. But according to this cool infographic, there's 18 new items, 2 common items, 4 uncommon items, 3 legendary items, 1 lunar, 1 equipment, 2 boss items, and 5 meal items. Meal items come from the cool little chef mechanic who's hiding back here at the back of Computational Exchange, the virtual bazaar between worlds. And if given the proper items, mainly food-based items, you can concoct a bunch of different meal items. For example, a bison steak can turn into a seared steak if you combine it with another food item, which gives you a 5% max health increase, false suns everywhere frothing at the mouth. Or if you're looking for something truly broken, give him your molten perforator and your charged perforator and see what magic he creates. On top of that, you can combine certain items like fireworks and sticky bombs to create an ATG, or an ATG plus an unstable Tesla coil to create, well, a charged perforator, making this mechanic very strong. It adds a layer of complexity where instead of scrapping that fireworks and sticky bombs, you decide to bring them with you into the computational exchange to turn them into ATGs. Obviously, there's a little risk, say that again, required for you to make this decision, as getting here isn't as simple as just passing by or hitting a newt altar, but it is one of the stronger ways you can improve your build. Macro is real? Question mark? So anyway, the long and short of it after 7 minutes of yapping is that the Alloy Collective DLC is really the Country Bears of DLC. I would say it is definitely worth it. Definitely a great DLC, 10,000 times improvement over Seekers of the Storm, and maybe even beating out Survivors of the Void, who knows. I'll give it my IGN ranking of 8 out of 10 and move on with my life. If you decide to get the DLC after watching this video, hey, check out the other guide videos that I have. Or come watch us on Twitch TV /RD Thursday. Anyway, enjoy!